Aadujeevitham, The Goat Life, is an Indian drama film based on a true story and inspired by the critically acclaimed Malayalam novel by Benjamin. The film tells the harrowing tale of Najib Muhammad, a man hailing from a small, impoverished village in the Indian state of Kerala. Najib's life is one of struggle, defined by poverty, hardship, and a longing for a better future for himself and his family. Najib is an ordinary man with modest dreams. He works hard, but the meager income he earns is barely enough to sustain his wife and child. With the pressure of mounting debts and the dream of providing a better life for his loved ones, Najib begins to feel the weight of his circumstances. The economic hardship becomes unbearable, and he sees no future for himself and his village. The allure of the Gulf countries, with their promise of wealth and prosperity, becomes an irresistible beacon of hope for Najib. Driven by desperation, Najib decides to seek work in the Middle East, hoping that a job that will allow him to send money back home, pay off his debts, and secure a better life for his family. He sells whatever little he owns to pay a local recruitment agent, who promises him a lucrative job in Saudi Arabia. With hope in his heart and dreams of a brighter future, Najib bids farewell to his family, believing that his journey will lead him to a land of opportunity. However, upon his arrival in Saudi Arabia, Najib's dreams are brutally shattered. Instead of the well-paying job he was promised, Najib finds himself sold into virtual slavery. He is taken to a remote area in the vast, unforgiving Saudi desert, where he is forced to work as a goat herder under the scorching sun. The conditions are inhumane. He is isolated from the world, cut off from any form of communication, and treated with utter disregard by his employer, who views him as nothing more than a disposable laborer. Najib's new reality is a nightmare. He is thrust into an existence where basic human dignity is denied. He is given little food and water, barely enough to survive, and forced to sleep in the open desert, surrounded by the goats he tends. The harsh desert environment takes a toll on Najib's health, both physically and mentally. The extreme temperatures, the relentless sun, and the biting cold at night make his life a constant struggle. His body weakens, and his spirit begins to break under the weight of his suffering. As days turn into months and months into years, Najib's hope begins to fade. He loses track of time, unable to remember how long he has been trapped in this desolate place. The isolation and the harshness of his environment strip away his sense of self. Najib becomes a shell of the man he once was, consumed by a relentless struggle for survival. His thoughts often drift back to his family in Kerala, but the memories are a source of both comfort and pain, as he fears he will never see them again. Throughout his ordeal, Najib encounters brief moments of humanity, such as the rare acts of kindness from other workers or the fleeting memories of his life before his imprisonment. These moments give him the strength to carry on, even when everything else seems lost. The goats he herds, once symbols of his enslavement, become his only companions in the vast emptiness of the desert. In them, he finds a reflection of his own condition, creatures bound by circumstance, yet enduring in their existence. Years pass in this state of suffering, and Najib's physical and mental state continues to deteriorate. His body becomes emaciated, and his mind is plagued by the constant fear of death from starvation or exposure. Yet, in the depths of his despair, Najib refuses to surrender completely. He dreams of escape, of finding a way out of the desert and returning to his family. The thought of his wife and child back home fuels his determination to survive, even when the odds seem insurmountable. Finally, after enduring unimaginable hardships, an opportunity for escape presents itself. Najib seizes this chance with what little strength he has left. The details of his escape are harrowing. As he navigates the treacherous desert terrain, driven by the sheer will to survive. Against all odds, Najib manages to find his way back to civilization, where he is eventually rescued and repatriated to India. When Najib returns to his village in Kerala, he is a changed man. The years of suffering have left deep scars on his body and soul. He is physically weakened, and the trauma of his experience lingers, but he is finally home. Najib's story is not just one of survival. It is a powerful testament to the human spirit's resilience in the face of unimaginable adversity. His return is bittersweet, as he must come to terms with the time lost and the person he has become. Aadujeevitham is a deeply moving narrative that sheds light on the dark reality faced by many migrant workers who leave their homelands in search of a better life, only to find themselves trapped in situations of exploitation and abuse. It is a story that highlights the stark contrast between the dreams of a better future and the harsh realities that many face in pursuit of those dreams. The film is a poignant reminder of the sacrifices made by those who seek to escape poverty and the often brutal cost of those aspirations. Through Najib's story, Aadujeevitham explores themes of isolation, resilience, and the enduring human spirit. It challenges viewers to reflect on the broader social and economic systems that enable such exploitation and the responsibilities we all share in addressing these injustices. The film is a tribute to the countless migrant workers whose stories often go unheard, and it calls for greater empathy and understanding of their struggles. In the end, Aadujeevitham is not just about one man's journey through suffering. It is a universal story of hope, survival, and the unbreakable bond of family and home. Najib's experience, though extreme, resonates with anyone who has faced hardship and fought to reclaim their dignity and humanity. It is a story of enduring hope in the face of despair and a reminder that, even in the darkest of times, the human spirit can endure and triumph. Najib's opportunity for escape comes unexpectedly. After years of enduring unimaginable suffering, he seizes a moment of weakness from his captor and makes a daring bid for freedom. The journey through the desert is perilous, with the ever-present dangers of dehydration, starvation, and capture. But Najib's will to survive is unbreakable. He trudges through the desert, driven by the hope of seeing his family again. Miraculously, Najib is found by a group of sympathetic men who help him reach the Indian embassy. From there, with the help of the authorities, he is finally able to return to Kerala. His return is bittersweet. The man who left his village full of dreams is now a shadow of his former self, broken by the experiences he endured but still alive. Upon his return, Najib finds that life in his village has moved on without him. He is greeted with both joy and sorrow, as his family, who had long feared him dead, struggles to reconcile the man who left with the man who returned. Najib himself is haunted by the memories of his time in the desert, struggling to reintegrate into society and reclaim his identity. The story concludes on a note of reflection. Najib's tale is not just one of survival, but also a commentary on the broader issues of exploitation, migration, and the often overlooked plight of migrant workers in the Gulf. His story is a stark reminder of the human cost of economic desperation and the lengths to which people will go in search of a better life. Themes and impact. Aadujeevitham is a powerful exploration of the human spirit, the will to survive, and the profound effects of isolation and exploitation. It raises important questions about the treatment of migrant workers, the ethics of labor practices in the Gulf countries, and the psychological toll of extreme isolation. The film's narrative, rich in emotional depth, offers a window into the life of a man who was reduced to little more than an animal, yet somehow managed to retain a shred of humanity. It is a story of resilience, of how hope can survive even in the most hopeless situations, and of how the human spirit can endure unimaginable suffering. Through Najib's journey, Aadujeevitham forces the audience to confront the harsh realities and challenges us to consider what it means to be human in a world that so often dehumanizes the most vulnerable among us.